Hey, what's up, guys? Demogorgon here, and today I want to talk about transplants and the City of Angels. So, half of the Los Angeles metropolitan area is not originally from here. They were born in a different state or sometimes a different country, but moved here for a variety of reasons. Now, this topic of transplants is kind of interesting to me personally because, well, one, I myself am a transplant. I'm not originally from Los Angeles. But two, there's recently been a lot of interest and focus on California's migration patterns. Who's coming, who's going, and why? So, in this video, I want to address the question of what type of transplant stays in Los Angeles long term. I actually happen to have a working theory that there's 7 attributes of transplants who do in fact stay the long run rather than wash out after a couple of months. Now, this does not apply if you were born, raised, or have family in Los Angeles, just transplants. Okay, let's jump to the list. Okay, so the first type of transplant that does well in Los Angeles are those who are making decent money. So decent money is just another way of saying that you can live a comfortably middle-class lifestyle or better relative to the local cost of living. So if you look at migration data of who's been leaving LA County, the LA region, and frankly California as a whole, you'll notice it skews primarily towards lower income residents. So unsurprisingly, when you look at the flip side of who's moving in, it tends to be college educated people in high income occupations. So the devil's in the details. Let's get very specific about the numbers here. So if you're a single person household, that means you don't have a significant other, no children, etc. That number's probably around $110,000 a year. Let's do the math on that. So $110,000 a year, on a monthly basis, that means that you take home something like $6,000 plus or minus after taxes. So with $6,000 a month of income, you could probably afford $2,000 worth of housing. $2,000 is enough to get you a studio or a small one-bedroom apartment in pretty much anywhere in LA County, almost anywhere in LA County. Now, if you have a significant other, so that makes you a 2-person household, then bump that number up to $175,000 a year. Now, if you have a child, then making you a 3-person household, then bump that up again to about 205. And if you have 2 children, bump it up again to something like 250. Okay, so now remember, these numbers are just the minimum for living comfortably middle class. It doesn't mean that you'll be rich, doesn't mean that you'll be able to purchase real estate, but it does mean that you're not going to be living paycheck to paycheck. You'll have enough money for savings, investments, and just discretionary spending at the end of the month. So the next type of transplant that thrives in Los Angeles are those who dislike cold weather. So I'm talking about snow and ice and blizzards and all of that stuff, right? Now, it's not new for people to run away from cold weather. Retirees have been doing that for at least 100 years in the United States. But what is new-ish is when people in their 20s and 30s decide to make weather a key priority when it comes to permanent relocation. Now, LA is not the only beneficiary of this. There's an entire region in the United States called the Sun Belt that's just been riding this immense population and economic boom, partially thanks to warm weather. Now, let's just be clear about something very important. Los Angeles is not like Hawaii or Miami. It does actually get chilly here, especially overnight temperatures during the winter months, but the key thing is it doesn't freeze. And the closest that we get to wintry weather is way up in the mountains, and that's at least 2 hours away from the city. The third type of transplant that does well here are those who like being outdoors as much as possible. So mild temperatures plus lots of sunshine plus little rain plus low humidity is the perfect formula for do whatever you want all year long, right? For a lot of people, that means they go hiking a lot, they go surfing, they play some type of sports activity outside in the sun. But for many others, it could be as simple as lay out at the pool a lot, or it could be eating dinner on the patio every night. There's a reason why a lot of homes and apartment buildings in Los Angeles really lean into this whole indoor outdoor floor plans, open air courtyards, and all of that stuff. The fourth type of transplant that thrives in LA are people who are really into mind, body, and spirit. This is a catch all phrase that basically covers uh, people who practice veganism and eating organically, those who practice yoga and meditation, those who believe in energy healing and astrology. Now, listen, in a lot of the United States, those topics just get dismissed as being silly or in some cases fringe. That is not the case in Los Angeles. In fact, this stuff is serious business and it's fairly ubiquitous in a lot of transplant heavy neighborhoods across the city, like Venice, Silver Lake, Highland Park, Los Feliz. There's a long list of places in LA that have lots of that stuff. So the fifth type of transplant that does well in Los Angeles are cultural liberals. So straight out the gate, let's just like quickly define something. The word liberal has gone through some definition shifts in present day America, but in my interpretation, a liberal is just somebody who has left of center beliefs around gender identity, gender roles, sexuality, race, and the environment, right? Now, a liberal is not the same thing as a Democrat. Memphis, Tennessee has lots of Democrats, very few liberals. Liberal is really more like a worldview and a cultural identity, while being a Democrat is just like a voting preference that changes according to what year it is and who's on the ballot. My point is that it's much deeper than partisan politics when it comes to liberalism in the city. Now, LA is not the most liberal place in America. I would say San Francisco or Portland have it beat, but I would probably peg it somewhere between number 4 and number 6 on that total list of most liberal cities in the nation. Okay, number 6 type of transplant that thrives in Los Angeles are ambitious networkers in specific industries. So the stereotype, obviously, is the entertainment biz. That's film, television, and music. And yes, that certainly still is a thing, but it's now expanded far beyond that. It includes, I would say, social media personalities on TikTok, Instagram, etc. do pretty well here. Also, if you're in some sort of consumer tech startup, you do fairly well here. I'd also add in as well, if you sell expensive things to rich people, like luxury real estate, high-end jewelry, high fashion, that type of thing, you can lump that in as well. Now, the key thing with this section is the word networking. If you work in one of these industries, but you don't like people, well, then you wouldn't check the box on this. The networking piece basically implies that you want to have an opportunity for in-person interactions with competitors, with customers, with mentors, with peers, with people you can collaborate with on projects, etc. Okay, last but not least are transplants who are passionate about food and foodie cultures. I would describe Los Angeles's food culture as being an intersection of 4 things, right? Quantity, quality, price variation, and regional variety. Let's just break that out. So quantity just means that there's lots of places that I could theoretically eat at. So it means I have a never-ending list of options. Quality means that generally speaking, most of the time the food is going to be above average all the way up to exceptional quality. Price variation means that you could go eat at a Michelin star restaurant that's $100 a plate, or you could go get yourself a $1.50 taco that was literally cooked on the side of the street, right? That's price variation. And then you have regional variety. So Mexican food from Jalisco is not the same as Mexican food from Sonora. An Armenian baklava is not the same as like a Persian baklava. That's examples of regional variety. It's a nuanced difference. So if you take that 4-way intersection and then overlay it on someone's love of Mexican food or Asian food or Middle Eastern food or like plant-based vegan food, then that's basically LA's foodie culture in a nutshell. Okay, so that's the list. Now let's score this thing out. Okay, so if you checked 7 out of 7 boxes, it means that you're never leaving. If you check 5, maybe 6 boxes, it means the city's a good fit for you, but it's not guaranteed that you'll stay permanently. Now, if you check 4 or 3 boxes, it's a coin toss. Now, if you check less than 3 boxes, I would go ahead and say the city is not a good fit for you as a transplant because there's just not enough value that you're getting out of it relative to the cost. Okay, so that's my unscientific video about transplants in Los Angeles. How many boxes did you check? Let me know in the comments. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.